Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I have a special episode. I am joined here with OviClapBomb on Twitter. I feel like this guy has been kind of the king, the goat of Blackhawks Twitter. Okay, he's gonna shake his head. He's gonna be modest. I don't know. I feel like you're one of the more notable voices on Blackhawks Twitter. Like it feels like, and we were just having a conversation about this. It feels like there are 100, maybe 500 people on Blackhawks Twitter that are like Blackhawks accounts. But I think maybe just you started early and just the whole OviClapBomb thing. I do feel like you're like one of the more notable people on there. So I'm happy to have you on the channel. How are you doing, man?
Well, first, I appreciate that, and I'm happy to be here. Probably stick out for being one of the more delusional fans in the fan base, kicking tires on Kaprizov and Marner and all these guys, but somebody's got to do it, man.
Someone does, dude. That's important. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but someone's got to do it. And people say the same shit about me, bro. And like, God forbid, we've got a couple of delusional fans.
That's the way I've always kind of looked at like fandom is important. I can be the most logical person you can want out of me. Like I can tell you what you want to hear or what other people will all commonly come to the same agreement. But like, where's the fun in that? At the end of the day, like I would rather be a little more theatrical and maybe a little over the top so that it's like a little more entertaining because that's why I love sports. When I was growing up and the Hawks would lose to the Habs, I had to go to school and have Habs fans ripping in my face all day.
I
And,
can't imagine.
like it sucked. But then when the Hawks beat the Habs and I could go to school with, sticking my tongue out, it made it all that much better. So, uh, you know, I, uh, I just love it all. I love
Yeah.
the bad takes, the good takes, the angry takes. I love it all. So
Dude, I needed to hear you say that because that's been my thing through this whole process for me is like I'm not the expert. Like I'm not an expert. I don't want to be viewed as like a beat reporter who like or like an expert on the sport. Like I'm at my truest form. I'm just a fan yelling about this team in my bedroom, like
yeah,
so like of course I'm gonna have homer takes and so sometimes I
yeah.
get in arguments with people and it's like I don't think they realize that I'm like what I'm doing, that like I am the homer guy, like I'm not the
Yeah.
smartest, like
And you need to, like, in a position like this, you should stick up for your boys.
yeah.
There might be times where like a non-biased reporter with the Macklin Celebrini versus Bedard stuff will have to like lay it out and just be like, I think Macklin's doing this better or
Yeah,
whatever it be. But like as a Hawks fan,
I don't
I
get
can
involved.
logically be like, yeah, sure, Celebrini is doing this, but I'm taking Bedard. I'm
Yeah.
taking Bedard. And like that's okay. And that's important to have that because if not, you'll just get everybody saying the exact same fucking thing.
What's
And
the fun in that?
exactly.
Okay, so I think the first thing I want to talk about, I feel like the most pressing thing going on right now, being discussed on Blackhawks Twitter with this team, is the Artem Levshunov situation. He was a healthy scratch the other night against Columbus. It sounds like he's going to be a scratch tomorrow night against San Jose as well, probably until the Olympic break. What do you make of it? What is your concern level with Arty? Ben Pope put out an article talking, like giving some quotes from Jeff Blashill saying that they're working on his like puck decision, his on puck skill, his footwork, and his shooting technique. What are you making with this whole Arty situation? Because as we mentioned, as we were talking with each other before this, there's a lot of division amongst the Blackhawks fan base, like about Artem Levshunov. How do you feel about him right now?
Artie's an interesting cat because like one, he is like the most unintentionally funny prospect player that I've seen in a long time. Like anything that guy does is just funny. Uh, the other night, what was it when I think he hopped out during overtime or something like that. And he just like had no business being on the ice. And just like,
Yeah,
you have no choice but to be like, what the fuck? And just laugh it off like silly Artie. Um,
silly Arty.
yeah,
Yeah, the Arty moments.
exactly. I'm not worried about Arty yet. I mean, I think there's some like one. I don't think he'll ever be the caliber of player that Ivan Demidov is. Like, just get that out of the way.
Mm,
I don't think that means we need to dwell on that forever. But just because that argument's always going to be there, I do just think Demidov is going to be the superior NHL player. However, two different cloths, two different cars.
yeah.
One's an SUV and one's a convertible. You kind of need them to do different things. And I think there's still a lot of promise with Artie. He's still young. He's playing a lot of minutes. Even just the amount of games you're playing in the NHL compared to a college season. Still getting used to that, getting used to the language. People forget that he's not an English first guy.
Yeah.
So lots of new stuff in this guy's life. All things considered, I think he's adapting well. I think the defensive side of the puck we know is a harder develop. So that will take a little more time. I'm not as worried about that. I also don't envision Artie being power play one guy of the future. So like the fact that he's not like incredibly dynamic doesn't scare me as much. I think he's been serviceable on power play one, but I still envision like that being a Rinzel or Korchinsky or future trade asset running the power play. Overall, with Levshunov, I think it's just still really early in his development. I think in a lot of other cases, you would see him still at the college or the AHL level, but because of Chicago's situation where they're developing at the NHL level, and like that was a really big detail in hiring Blashill and the coaching staff, is that we want to develop our young guys while they're here. Yeah, so not worried yet.
You're preaching patience to the fan base.
Yeah, and especially with defensemen.
Yeah.
Defensemen take a while. How old is he?
20.
20? Is he
He's
20?
not, I don't think he's 21 yet.
I'll say like I said, I'm 25. I don't think it was till I was 23 that I was
an
like
idiot
actually,
when I was
I was an idiot at 20 and I was like small.
Yeah.
So like the idea this guy his prefrontal cortex will develop. He'll get a little bit more smart, a little smarter, a little more decisive. He'll get bigger. And like I think you've got a top 4 right-hand shot D locked of the future. And because we have Rinzel, who's also has that label, I think you're in a good spot because when one's not going, the other one should be able to fill in that role. And I think is like neither one of them might become a true number 1 Norris caliber winning defenseman, but together, it'd be like an NHL having 290 overall guys versus the 196 overall guy, if that makes sense. So
yeah, it almost takes pressure off of them, and I've said this in a couple of recent videos. Is like you do have those other options on the right side right now, and like Louis Crevier's looking really solid on that right side too. So I think given the amount of depth you have in this young blue line, there's less pressure on Artie to be a true number 1. For me, where the concern comes from, and like, where I kind of understand fans freaking out a little bit, is like, look, at the end of the day, and I'm so done with the Demidov Levshunov shit.
Yeah,
like,
sorry to bring it up.
No. I'm with you. I completely agree with your take on that. It's just like if you are gonna select the guy 2nd overall, you kind of need him for the sake of like the GM making the decision. Like if this is just gonna be like a depth guy on your right side, why are you picking that guy 2nd overall? And so that's the concern for me. It's like you're working on all this like fundamental stuff with him. He's a 2nd overall pick. Like that's a little concerning, but I agree. Yeah. I think he's got all the physical tools to be an elite defenseman in this league. He's got all the stuff you can't teach. Like I think he can learn to make better decisions, improve that processing speed, get a better shot, make better, like he can improve that stuff, but like his speed and his size, those things are like less teachable, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think it's patience, but at the same time, I do understand the concern. But this is the situation we're in with this group, is like, we're going to be developing these young players at the NHL level. And that's just kind of where we're at. I guess before we transition, because I do want to talk to you about like some deadline stuff as well as Olympic stuff, but you mentioned Kevin Korchinsky. What's your, and another guy, you know, he's a high draft pick, 7th overall a couple years ago. Where's OviClapBomb on Kevin Korchinsky fitting in with this group? Do you still have belief in him? What role do you think he plays? Or maybe no role at all?
It's a tough one with Korchinsky, man. I think there's a lot to go into Korchinsky, and I find myself on different sides of the fence at different times, depending on what's kind of going on. There was a time in March last year where it was like, ship this guy off yesterday, and get what we can.
Yeah.
I really question what his value is now, though, in terms of like if it would be worth it to move him, or if it would just be worth it to try to get whatever you can out of him. Again, on the defensive side of the puck and like physical maturity, that stuff takes time. He's still 22, 21. Like, I still would give it a tiny bit of time in terms of like him being physically at his peak, and ready to go on the defensive side. However, it's starting to get close. The one thing with Korchinsky that I constantly remind myself is the unfortunate situation with his father, where his father passed away. Was it last year or the year before his rookie year?
2 years ago.
Either way, like as you know, a young man who grew up in like hockey culture and how important my father was to that. The idea of like, if my dad passed away at 20, 21 years old, I don't know if I would be able to do anything, you know, at my full potential, let alone play NHL hockey. So like, there is a mental side of that that's like, is he fully past this? Is this something that's making it a little bit harder for him? And I just like have full sympathy towards that, because I'm very grateful to still have my parents and not have to deal with that unfortunate situation. So that's one thing that pops up a lot. However, the power play this year has not been good for Chicago. And like, I feel like this would have been the time to give him 10 games of being PP1 quarterback.
But you have like, Matt Grzelcyk.
I guess.
Like, yeah, it's like,
so it's like, if he's not up this year and not doing it this year, is it starting to get to the point where it's too late? So I have a little bit of hope for Korchinsky, but I kind of am starting to think that it's probably leaning towards not going to be a part of the future, especially with guys like Kaiser. Like, Kaiser is playing what we thought Korchinsky would be at this point, like walking the line, confident, good in his own end, good pairing with Levshunov. So like, all of a sudden, it's like, if we have Vlasic and Kaiser, we have one spot left, and is Korchinsky a third pair guy?
Is it? Do you want a puck moving guy? I mean, I guess that is kind of the role Matt Grzelcyk has been playing this year, is like that third guy on the left side has been a puck mover. But I literally today, I was just, because I don't watch Rockford Ice Hog games, I'll be honest with you, I just don't have the time to do it, but was just looking at stats, and like, I know plus minus isn't everything, especially in the AHL. Like, it's kind of but just the zoom out, like Kevin Korchinsky minus 22 in the AHL, and like, you can say, you know, there's so much turnover in the AHL, the goaltending, yada yada, but like, Ethan Del Mastro is a +4. You
He's
know,
minus
like
22, man.
he's minus 22, bro. I checked today. Like, I did not, unrelated to this. I was just wondering. Yeah, dude. I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't tell me that, like, I'm not, again, I'm not watching the game, so maybe some Rockford Ice Hog fans can tune in and comment something below this video. But like, you're not going to convince me that like Kevin Korchinsky's on the PK more than Ethan Del Mastro is, you know. Like I'd imagine Kevin Korchinsky's on the power play a lot more than Ethan Del Mastro is, and EDM's a +4. You know, I'm sure those are the two defensemen that have played the most minutes for the Ice Hogs this year. That's like at some point you do go from a prospect to a suspect. I wonder if that's happening with Kevin Korchinsky. I think that like if you don't decide to trade him, you obviously can't re-sign Matt Grzelcyk. Maybe you give Korchinsky the reins on the third pairing next year. Pair him with a guy like Louis Crevier, maybe a more defensively sound guy. But it's like, I don't know if you want to have to be holding anybody's hand,
especially next year, man, where there's going to be like a very clear expectation of a step. This is the last year that like fans are going to be like, okay, whatever happens, happens. I know personally, like I've been very lenient and patient with Davidson's rebuild, like have preached patience, you know, every chance I get.
Me too.
Next year's the year where it's like, if we're in this situation this time next year where I will have some questions on how we're going about this. Eventually you do need to take a step. And
I completely agree. I completely agree with you. I think we saw a jump. We've seen a jump from last year to this year. You have to do that again next year. You can't move horizontally. And I completely agree. And so with Korchinsky on that left side, as you bring up Vlasic and Kaiser, it's like you can't now have this like experiment over there.
Yeah, and like next year's like it's got to be you've got to be pushing for the playoffs. It can't be about the draft pick. This year is either or. Wherever you finish this year, people for the most part are going to be like, okay, that's fine. We made a little bit more of a push this year, but it didn't work out. So like if he's not here this year, like I just, you know, like and, you know, if Levshunov's not playing well and they haven't swapped them out at all, like I just. And I know, I can't remember where I read it or saw it. I know for a fact that part of the Levshunov deal, or part of the drafting Levshunov, was that the organization had lost some faith in Korchinsky becoming that number one defenseman, and that's why they took Levshunov, or a huge proponent into why they took Levshunov. So if they lost faith that long ago,
what's it at now? Obviously not very. Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I think he's just probably not a piece, unfortunately. That you know,
and he's beloved, but it's like that's not that
he is, and that's unfortunate. But you know, you can't win a Stanley Cup with compassion.
A cute face. Exactly. I'm sorry, and I know some of the Korchinsky lovers might not like to hear that, but it's just the reality. It's
Lucas Reichel isn't on this team anymore. We're moving away from that stuff. You know, I'd rather a guy who cracks the mirror when he looks at it, and you know,
and will like run a guy on the fourth line rather than Lucas Reichel, who's like
does a whole lot of nothing. Skates around and just
not skilled enough to be a top six guy, not physical and defensively reliable enough to be a bottom six guy, like just not NHLers. And I am worried that's the case with Korch. But maybe you can move them, put them in a package to get something. And I guess now we'll kind of shift focus to the trade deadline. It kind of sounds like Murphy and Dickinson are probably going to be on the out. Are there any other guys, maybe other guys on expiring contracts like an Ilya Mikheyev? I don't think the captain, Nick Foligno, is going to be going anywhere. But I guess what are your expectations for this trade deadline, all things considered?
Yeah, so it's always kind of been that this is the year where there's a few guys who are on their last year of their deal. And there's a few big prospects right on the precipice of coming up. You got Frondel, Kanserov, possibly Boivet. So yeah, definitely Dickinson, I would say is gone for sure. Connor Murphy, he'll be attractive to a team like Edmonton or something, Dallas, somebody who just wants a third pair vet right-hand shot.
Yep.
Dickinson will be kind of the same thing, third, fourth line guy. They'll be attractive, and you might actually get more than you think for those guys.
Because they both have been good this year.
And it's just like, it's when teams are desperate and it's like, there's only so many right-hand shots. Connor Murphy's a reliable guy. We need somebody to push us over the edge. A team like Dallas, I could see just being over the moon, especially if you can find a team that gets them both together with like some retention. So Dickinson, Murphy, third line, third pair, little bit of retention. That could net you something pretty. I'm most curious about is Mikheyev. Because he's been impressive this year for me overall. I think
last year too,
Yeah, he's fast, man. He plays with kind of like a dog on a bone. He's got some tenacity. He's great on the penalty kill. And I think that's really where teams might start licking their chops a little bit when they see that speed and the kind of relentlessness on the PK. It's like if I'm again, I think of these teams, Dallas, Edmonton, Colorado, you're looking for a little edge somewhere. Mikheyev would be a great player. Like I could see there being a bidding war for Mikheyev, despite there's some people that might want to keep him.
And so where do you sit on that? Would you prefer to move him or keep him?
If you get what I'd expect, I'd move him. Yeah, I think whenever I go through the next like 2-3 years, it gets really overwhelming really fast in terms of how much spots are available. So if you sign Mikheyev to
there's 2 spots next year, bro. There's 2 open spots next year if you extend Mikheyev.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's gonna get crowded quick. Like I said, we're already next year. You get Frundell and Kancerov, who both need top 6 minutes. You get possibly Boivet, possibly Lardis. Maybe they're both in the AHL, maybe not. And then like you're not even like Jack Pridham. You're not kind of guys like
Merrick Van Acker too, which maybe takes a whole year in Rockford, but like still, dude, you got so many guys.
I'm convinced Spellacy could probably be a 4th line guy next year. Like I think he was almost NHL ready last year.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna get to a point where in like 2 years, if we're still hanging on to guys like Mikheyev or Murphy, it's gonna be like we're gonna have to let prospects go, and we think Davidson doesn't want to do that. We're building a young, kind of in an unorthodox way. We're building a team full of young guys where young guys will get opportunities. And because of that, we have a fuck ton, excuse my language.
No, you can let it fly. I say bad things on this channel.
We have a fuck ton of prospects to the point where like even if we got rid of guys, we're still gonna have to
make decisions.
So like a guy like Mikheyev is like, if somebody's offering you a 2nd round pick, just take it. And more so that the spot is open for somebody else. And then, you can always go trade for a guy like Mikheyev later on down the line if you're truly missing him. But it's, I would move on from all those guys who are expiring, those 3. And Foligno won't be going anywhere. Absolutely.
And I do feel like and there is definitely a big contingent in the fan base that are like fully on the re-sign Mikheyev. I feel like it comes from like the KD hater crowd because they're like, none of these guys are good. You need Ilya Mikheyev's. Like, you're telling me that like a Landon Slager or a Colton Dock or an AJ Spellacy, like, you're telling me none of these young guys can grow into that like speedy, defensively responsible PK role that Ilya Mikheyev, like, I know Ilya Mikheyev's been really good the past couple of years for the Blackhawks, but let's not pretend like that's some role, some talent that you're not going to be able to
not pretend like we haven't been like absolute dog shit. For
that too. Let's just resign.
Yeah. Like we can fall in love with these players, but the reality is, we haven't been good if we keep the players around that are here beyond the young guys, because you expect young guys to progressively get better. We're just gonna stay a lot of the same. And yeah, no, a guy like Mikheyev, it's more so too. I just think teams are gonna offer too much. You know, if it was one thing like the Donato situation, or even less so, like where they're offering like a fourth round pick for Mikheyev, and it's like, yeah, well, let's just keep him. Whatever, we don't need that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be hard pressed to see a team offer like a first. It might be a little much,
That might
but
be a little bullish, but if it's a second, like,
yeah, or like it's, if it's the right team with retention, like and a team really value like Tampa Bay's, like we could fit this guy on our third line and
yeah,
and do things. We don't care about getting rid of our picks. Like I could see us getting an offer from Mikheyev that is a little more palatable than people would expect. And just with their notion of filling up spots for young guys, let them go, let them chase a cup. Especially Murphy, man, let that guy get in the fucking playoffs. Like,
yeah. We are. So yeah, so you get 3 total salary retention spots. We're using the one for Seth Jones, and we're going to be using that one till the end of time. Thank you,
true,
Stan
yeah,
Bowman, for that contract.
that's true.
But you got 2 retention spots. Use them both. Use them both here for those players. Give them to teams. Give Dickinson and Murphy or Mikheyev, whoever you're going to move. Give them to teams for $1 and retain that whole contract and get the highest pick you can. I'm gonna tell you kind of what, before we transition to Olympics, I want to lay out kind of my off season desired plan for
Yeah,
Kyle
sure.
Davidson and the Blackhawks, and just let me know what you think about it. You just bring up kind of how scary it is looking forward with the amount of spots available and how they're already dwindling. And it's like, you brought up a bunch of players. You didn't even include guys like Vaclav Nestrasil and Mason West, who the Blackhawks just drafted. Like, dude, there are so many guys that we couldn't even go through and count them all right now. Start package. You've got all these draft picks too. You've got 10 first and second round picks over the next 3 years. What are we doing? Like, you want to create the population of West Loop with Blackhawks prospects that are never going to make it to the NHL? Like start moving these guys now this summer and consolidating them for surefire things in your top 6. How do you feel about that? Or moving up in the draft. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think like I said, I think we're certainly getting to that point where it is time to start doing something. I think the thing with making a move is we still don't know exactly
What
where
we
we
have.
need,
Yeah.
what we have.
Mhm.
And like, I think next year we'll like, I envision that like at the end of next year, knowing like fully what is needed. But also like, is that waiting too long to do something? Like I would like to make a move. I'd like it to be the right move. But like I was down with Kaprizov. I was down with Quinn Hughes. I think if it's the right player, Jason Robertson, if it's the right player, and I think
What about a Matt Barzal or a Jordan Kyrou or an Elias Pettersson?
I wouldn't touch a Pettersson.
I knew you were going to say that.
With a 10-foot pole, and that's the retaining half.
You don't want 11-6 or whatever that contract
No,
is?
and he's just, as a Canadian who's seen that guy dragged through the face of the media for years now, it's just, I don't have faith that he's a guy. Like, I don't think he's a dog on a bone, high compete guy. And I know Davidson prioritizes that.
Yeah.
Barzal, I've always loved Barzal. My dad's a New York Islanders fan, so I always paid attention to the Islanders. Always thought Barzal would probably be one of my kind of dream signings next to Patrick Kane. I don't think you're getting him away from the Islanders right now, just because I think they found a new identity with their boy Schaefer. Kyrou could be interesting. I'd have to be certain it's what we need though, like, because I don't want because I guess it's more like we add Frendell and Kancerov next
Yeah.
year, and we want both of them, or a lot of us envision those guys immediately being top six.
I'm with
One
you.
of them,
That's me too.
plays with Nazar, and one of them plays with Bedard,
Okay.
and that it works out. You get Frondel, Bedard, and Nazar, and Kancerov or whatever.
Mhm.
We need to figure out if those guys fit where we think they're gonna fit. Um, and then go from there. It would depend on the prospect too. There's some prospect, like if you're talking about Nestrasil, I'm telling you to kick rock.
Mhm.
Like Nestrasil, there's not much I would give up for Nestrasil.
Mhm.
But if we're talking like Vinacker and uh, I don't know, Vinacker and Camesso for Jordan Kyrou or something, like
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
What about like
Um,
how willing would you be to move a guy like a Lardis or an Oliver Moore or
Moore, I wouldn't. Moore's one I think is a future guy for sure. To me, I think he's going to be like almost like a Patrick Sharp during the heyday where it's like literally put him anywhere in the lineup. Like
Mhm.
if he's your first line left wing in 5 years for a run, that's fine. If he's your third line left wing, it's cool. I think his speed is just going to be way too invaluable, or valuable. What um,
I know what you're saying.
Lardis, I'm more likely to be okay with getting rid of. Um, I, again, like you've come to love all these guys, so like, and you don't
Yeah.
know exactly where they are. Lardis, I would be okay with, if it meant bringing in like a bona fide, if it meant Jason Robertson, like I'm not batting an eye at Nick Lardis. Um,
My thing is I view so many of these guys as like even if they're like solid, even if they end up being like really solid middle six guys, I think a lot of these guys are projecting out to be like solid middle six guys. And it's like
mm,
the way it's looking is like we've got 15 really solid middle six guys on the on the way.
yeah,
I don't want to be the Seattle Kraken. Like
no,
get
no,
a few of them and get like a surefire top six. But I guess that's just kind of like the way I view it. But and I understand like they don't know exactly what they have, especially with the forward group because we drafted the defenseman first. And
yeah,
so you have a better idea with the defenseman than the forward group. But like I kind of agree with you. Like I don't think the Blackhawks can just be completely dog shit again next year and be like, oh, we're still figuring this out. It's like you might have to kind of roll the dice. You
yeah,
might have to take the chance and be like, yeah, we're going to trade a couple of these young players. They might go out to be stars, but like you,
mm,
you might have to take like a safer option and package a few of them for someone can play in that top six. Just because
yeah,
I think this team is still lacking like it would be great to have like the perfect player is like a play driving left winger for me. Like
mm,
you need a guy that can play on the left side of the ice. I think between Lardis, Boisvert, Frundell, all those guys have like really intriguing offensive packages with their shots, but they all shoot from the right side of the ice. You've got a lot of guys
mhm,
that play on the right side of the ice or the center position.
mhm.
I think if you get a really high upside left winger, you maybe give up whatever it takes to get that, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
and if it was like if it was Kaprizov, like I don't think there's a name in our prospect pool that I wouldn't give up for Kaprizov. Um, so like yeah, it would depend on the player. You are right though, where it's just we do have a lot of guys who, and they might not even make it to the middle six, right? Like you can what's Vinacker going to be? Couldn't tell you like what
Mhm.
you can be confident, but and even guys like Nestrasil are a while away.
And that's the tricky balancing act is like you want to find out more of what you've got, but also the longer you wait, some of these 22, 23, 24 draft picks are maybe losing value the longer you wait. And so
Yeah,
like I think you go out and you make a move this summer. It doesn't have to be massive where you're giving up everything for a guy, but like go
yeah,
out and package a few assets for a top six guy. And then as
yeah,
far as like, dude, like the draft, like what are we even doing drafting second round players and beyond? Like, what is the point of that?
Yeah,
You've
and like
got
trading
too
up
many.
yeah.
Like,
Even
package
people,
them.
it's like, let's get three picks again this year. It's like I don't. What are we gonna do with them?
And like,
Like
we're waiting.
even the first round pick, like if we get Stenberg, like or if we don't get Stenberg or McKenna, it's like it's kind of complicated where the person is, like where they're gonna play. So I do agree that it is like I think my philosophy would be like be careful with the trade, I guess, but like
Yeah.
it is time. And I would say again, like if we were having this conversation this time next year and we were in the same boat, I'd be like fists on the table, like trade now. Like we need a trade now. I'm at my last little bit of like patience. And then it'll be like really time. I'm also really want to see what Frundell and Kancerov are, because
Yeah.
those like if Kancerov shows up and he's nothing, like worst case scenario, he's just like too small, a step behind,
Slow. Yeah.
doesn't work out. It's like now there's a majorly glaring need for top six wing.
Yeah.
Versus it might be a little less so if those two guys hit. But
Look
like,
good.
but yeah, beyond like Frundell, Kancerov, Oliver Moore, I'd say like everyone is probably not safe, and even
Yeah.
Oliver Moore for the right price.
Mm. Yeah.
I was
Dude,
pumped when they drafted him, man. I was pretty excited when they drafted Moore, so
yeah.
I want them to see it out.
Yeah, and like with Oliver Moore, it's like, and dude, I've gotten into like arguments with people on Twitter, like people saying like, oh, he cannot be a play driver. He's not, like, trust me, he's not. Like, people limiting in putting a ceiling on Oliver Moore. It's like with that speed, if that
Game breaking
processing,
speed.
yeah, like if that processing ability can get better and he can get a little more decisive and a little stronger. It's like that speed is undeniable. Like,
Yeah.
sure, he could end up being like an Ilya Mikheyev type, but like you don't when you've got that kind of speed, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, and even if he is an Ilya Mikheyev guy, weren't we just talking about how
How
there's like a
about
whole
you
bunch
need
of
Ilya
people
Mikheyev? Yeah.
that want him? It's like we can just if Oliver Moore is that but younger, like sure.
Yeah.
But the speed is just too game breaking to
Yep.
pass up on.
I agree. Okay, we've been going for a minute. I don't want to keep you forever. You've been generous with your time, but I think it would be silly for us to not do a little Olympic talk. I'm a USA hockey fan. You're a Hockey Canada guy.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with Canada. What do you make of, obviously, the Bedard snub? Celebrini's going, Cirelli over Sam Bennett. How, no Matthew Schaefer, Drew Doughty still in the picture. Jordan Binnington probably being your starting netminder. How do you feel about the Hockey Canada roster as of right now?
I mean, I'm always like initially, I'm always going to feel great when there's Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Cale Makar. Like their power play is literally just like the five best players on the planet. So
Like Sam Reinhart.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been a weird one this time around because of Bedard and because like most of the people I'm interacting with are not on my side. So I've gone through like a lot of different emotions. Initially, I didn't think Bedard should have been on the team, controversially. I didn't really think Celebrini initially should have either. They both quickly changed my mind pretty
Yeah.
quickly. They both started red hot. I try to be wary because I am a Blackhawks fan, and I love my boy. I understand why he's not there. There's just so many good players. Could he be there? Yes. Could other players be there? Yes. Does it suck he's not there? Yes. But will he be an Olympic athlete soon enough? Also, yes. And like in terms of like initially I was really upset. It's like Cirelli, like Anthony Cirelli. And then you start like thinking about it. It's like, okay, this guy has won like 2 Stanley Cups with Coop, went to the final the third year, won a Four Nations. Like all Cirelli does career is win in the second line role. And that's the head coach's guy more so, like that's
Yeah.
Coop's guy. So I kind of get it. Still would prefer Bedard, obviously, but they play different roles.
Can I do like a little rebuttal?
Yep.
Just just for the sake of devil's advocate, and like so like I feel like the common narrative with why Bedard isn't there is like, is Connor Bedard really going to play a bottom six role for you if needed? That's kind of been the thing. Like you'd rather a Brad Marchand or a Cirelli or a Tom Wilson, or insert player that you think is going to be in Canada's bottom six. My whole thing on this is like, I'm sorry. You cannot convince me that Connor Bedard is not a top six offensive Canadian player. Like,
oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Like he is. We've watched him with Ryan Green and Andre Burakovsky this year be well over a point per game. Like, you're telling me you put him on a like I'm sorry, he's a better offensive player than Mitch Marner. I'm gonna say it. He is already. Yeah, I believe that, And so 100%. Like, I don't think if you're Hockey Canada, it shouldn't be like, like is Connor Bedard gonna play a bottom six role? No, because he shouldn't be. He should be on a line with a McKinnon or a McDavid. Like, that's the way I view it. At least.
I know, I agree too, and I was always like, yeah, like if you're looking strictly at the offensive side, he's one of the best on the planet of any nation, particularly when it was at the time to select the rosters. Like when he was going into that selection date, he might have been the best player on the planet. Yeah. And very impressive, like two-way game or the growth in his two-way game was like very evident and very there. And there was some moments where it's like, oh, that was a really nice stick check from Bedard, or that was a really nice in his own end. Like there was moments that stuck out versus last season. There was none. Yeah, no, it is bizarre that narrative comes up a lot. I do think, like if a Marner or Reinhart went down, I think Bedard would have been the guy.
Yeah.
I was surprised that I haven't looked into
Braden Point.
I think they would like him to be back because he was one of the guys that was initially named to the roster, and that's Coop's first line center. So like they're gonna want him if he's available. Unfortunately, too, I think that they wanted Bennett on that team really bad. So I think Bennett. I
almost think that's like a crazier snub. Like the way Conn Smythe winner, the way he played at Four Nations, I think that is to me, it's so crazy that you would. Yeah.
Nobody thought that he wasn't going to be on that team. Yeah. Like I thought there was a good chance Bedard isn't going to be on Team Canada, and like we heard lots going in. I thought Bennett was like the biggest lock. It's like you said, he scored the game-tying goal at Four Nations final, playing on the line with Connor McDavid, and then won a second Stanley Cup and won the Conn Smythe. It's like, what else? And now he's playing. Now he's playing first-line center on Florida with Barkov out, and like he's kind of helping them stay afloat a bit. So I think he'll be the next name. The big thing, man, is it sucks for me because like obviously I want Canada to win. The idea of Celebrini getting a gold medal and not have Bedard not having one pisses me off, man. It's like it is sickening. Yeah. And like maybe I need to let the rivalry go a little bit. But that's not how I operate. It's too, I embrace rivalry, embrace fandom. If there's something with San Jose brewing, embrace it. I think it's
what I love about sports, dude. Like that's like, to me, that was always my favorite thing, is like at the lunch table in high school arguing about who's better, like LeBron or insert, like that's to me, that's my favorite part about sports is like pitting guys against each other and arguing why one guy's better than the other. And so when people are like, can't we just enjoy both these players? Fuck you. No, I'm not going to just
how we're doing it. This is how we're enjoying both of them. It's like it is creating animosity and arguments. And it's like if I say fuck Celebrini, like I'm expecting a fuck Bedard back in my face. And like I want that. Like and I think as sports fans we should just like embrace it, and that the animosity is not real. I don't actually hate Celebrini. I think Celebrini is
He's
amazing.
a tremendous player.
And I'm in
Yeah.
love with watching him, and I would take him on my team in a heartbeat. But if
Fuck
it's
him.
if it's head to head with my boy, kick rock.
Yep.
So like,
Well said. Well said.
yeah.
I'm with you on that. All right. Before we go, did you want to laugh at USA Hockey for like Brock Nelson and JT Miller and Vinny Trocheck and
A little bit, man. I think
no Jason Robertson?
I think Jason Robertson not being on that team is the biggest snub of the Olympics. Particularly with the guys that made it over him, where it's like, is Vinny Trocheck or JT Miller in particular, particularly JT Miller.
I also
Is
think
he-
Clayton Keller, is Clayton Keller on the team because of his forecheck and checking and defensive
Yeah.
ability? Like, he's not as good of an offensive player as Jason Robertson is.
It's just, what else does he really have to? He's like the best American scorer in the league right now. It's like, what else does he have to do? I mean, I still think it's going to be like, if Canada USA gold medal game, like, I still think it's going to be a 1-goal nail biter.
Yeah, me too.
Just from the nature of hockey, and I still think USA is like, they do scare me, and they've taken like huge strides, especially if you can get guys like Matthews and Jack Hughes, like elite players who didn't really go at Four Nations.
You need Matthews. You need Matthews.
You get
going.
Matthews, but I love Boldy. I love Dylan Larkin. Like, I think Jack Eichel is really underrated
Dogs,
in terms
man.
of being like one of the better centers in the entire league. So I am wary of USA for sure. But Jason Robertson, come on, man. Also maybe Spencer Knight,
Yeah, come on, get Niter in there. Yeah, dude, I feel the same way about Canada. I'm gonna talk a ton of shit as the Olympics start and go on. I pride myself on being a Hockey Canada hater. Just exactly what we were talking about. It's the rivalry thing. It has nothing to do with Canadians. It has nothing to do with even the individual players. It's just the rivalry. And for me, I love Olympic hockey. I love best on best. I love.
And we haven't
US
had it in
sports.
so long, man.
Dude, we've been I
and
remember.
Four Nations didn't count, man, because if Canada loses Four Nations and USA wins, it's like, oh, have fun with your Mickey Mouse medal, right?
Yeah,
This is the
big one. This is the one that matters. This is the bragging rights for the next 4 years. And look, I would have all the confidence in the world for the US to beat Canada. It just hurts. Like, I wanted to go into the Olympics thinking this is 100% the best lineup we can produce, and I can live with whatever happens. The Jason Robertson thing does just rub me the wrong way, because I'm like, man, would I be a little more confident heading into this, knowing that we've got more dogs other than that top six, knowing that we have Jason Robertson, And so that scares me. And then, I think Canada's beatable. I do think that the U.S. as a whole, the defensive, the D core is better. I think obviously the goaltending's better, but with goaltending, it's just whoever's hot,
Yeah,
so that's
Bennington was hot and Hellebuck was cold at Four Nations.
Unfortunately, it's not like our 3 best goalies versus your 3 best goalies. It's whichever goalie's playing that night plays better. So that's not as big of a deal, I think, as some people make. But it's just, for me, for Canada, it's just nobody scares me the way Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon do.
They're both. And McDavid this year, but I have Edmonton as my cup pick this year, just on the off chances. I would not want to be on the opposite end of Connor McDavid in the playoffs this year. I'd be horrified.
Dude, that's people have come into my chats and say that Colorado's going to make easy work of the Edmonton Oilers. I'm like, what are you guys talking? Nobody can make easy work of Connor McDavid. You just can't.
No, man.
Him and Draisaitl will play 26 minutes a night in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're going to combine for 3 goals a game in the playoffs. It's what they do. They do. I think Connor McDavid's the best hockey player of all time. Not
he needs
the
that cup,
greatest.
man. He needs that.
He does.
Cup.
He undeniably needs to win. He needs more accolades for sure. I can't imagine there's ever been a hockey player more talented than Connor McDavid. He does scare me, and he shows up. He rises to the occasion. People will tell me that Connor, and dude, I am the biggest Canada hater. Like I don't like Canadian players that are not on the Blackhawks. Like I just have a healthy respect and fear of Connor McDavid because I've seen him he gets better in the playoffs. He gets significantly better in the playoffs. So like he's not a loser. This Edmonton team is terrible. I'm sorry, this Edmonton team is terrible. They've gotten they're starting like 5-6 guys that are on the ice that'll play a ton of minutes, are good enough to beat anyone, you know? And so that's kind of like I think picking Edmonton is not a bad pick at all.
No, it's just because of McDavid, man. Like it's the fear, like being in that locker room. Like if you were on his team, like I'd be scared to even like ask like, hey, how was your night? Like that guy's gonna be so fucking locked in. It's gonna be ridiculous.
And also just like imagine the kind of confidence you feel being in the same locker room as Connor McDavid. It's like, yeah, we're down a couple goals, but we got 97. You know,
yeah, like this guy he'll score 3 before
if he needs to.
We hear a whistle, like it's it's gonna be interesting. And then you're probably gonna see like Sweden and Finland exceed expectations a little bit because everyone kind of already has this as a 2-horse race, but especially where it's the Olympics, you might see some upsets like Czechia. You might see a team or two.
And these rule sets might kind of favor Sweden a little bit, a more finesse skilled team.
Yeah, passing around like it's tiki-taka.
Tiki-taka. I love that.
Like it's Barca.
Yeah, a little Barca Madrid action at the Olympics in Milan Cortino. And also for me, like I understand that there are other things going on in the world, but like as a hockey fan, it sucks that Russia's not there because it does feel like it feels like a little bit of an asterisk, because it's like probably the 3rd best country not being there.
Yeah, and they were before USA, like this rivalry really took off. Like I feel like maybe I'm not as sure with USA, but like Canada and Russia were always rivals, and
that was the big rivalry. Yeah,
USA and Russia, like Miracle and stuff like that. So Russia, say what you will, they were great at being the bad guys or being the rival for Canada and USA. And just in terms of like NHL demographics, they produce a lot of really good NHL players. So
yeah, especially forwards and goaltenders.
Yeah, especially fucking goaltenders. I don't know what's in the water over there. That used to be our thing.
You guys lost. You guys got to get back to that, man. You guys are.
It's actually like a whole thing with like goes down to the minor hockey level, like completely, where like people aren't signing up to be goalies anymore, and like the expectations of goalies are much less. I remember reading about it, but yeah, we used to be spoiled with Price and oh man, now we have Jordan Binnington.
Is it for you? Is it Binnington or is it LT? Who would you want starting?
I've been a huge Logan Thompson fan since the second he came in the league. Something about a guy being in Canadian University, which is like hockey that is very available to me. So it doesn't seem like it's like a pro road. So just the idea of like, oh, that guy ended up playing for Vegas and now he's on the Olympics is like really, really cool to me. Also sometimes like when he was on Vegas, I went all in on Dallas in a playoff pool and Logan Thompson was stressing me out on Vegas. I don't think Dallas won the series till they got rid of Logan Thompson and put in Aiden Hill. So then at the same time, Binner was the reason we won last year. And I kind of speaking to showmanship and theatrics and stuff, I kind of fuck with Binnington and all like the little things he does to get under people's skin.
I do too. I love the rags.
Nervous and stuff like that. That being said, if I'm GM, I'm probably LT. Just go with the best guy. Binnington's been bad enough this year.
He's been atrocious.
That it's like worrisome that he won't recapture that form from last year.
Coop's not going to do that though.
No, he'll be in game 1, and then they'll go from there. But I prefer Logan Thompson. Logan Thompson's one of my favorite goalies in the league, for sure.
All right, I think that makes sense. I would probably feel the same way. Listen, dude, we're just under an hour. I appreciate you so much. We'll definitely have to do this again in the near future. Do you want to
Yeah.
plug the Twitter account? What can and anything people should be looking
Yeah,
out for?
man.
Like,
I mean, just OviClapBomb on Twitter, and yeah, no, I appreciate you having me, and it's been good to kind of. I fell off of being as obsessed with hockey as I usually am these like last month or two, dealing with some health stuff, but I'm back, kind of feeling back to normal and back to obsessing over the game. And right as we're coming to Olympics, trade deadline, draft time, it's going to be a really exciting time to be a Blackhawks fan. So I definitely wanted to try to do some more stuff like this to just get the mind flowing, get the get ideas working,
yeah.
and just start talking about the future and how this is going to look. Because like we said, the next year or two, there's going to be a lot of growth, and both in the fan base and within the organization, and it's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of. So
Yeah, and the streets need OviClapBomb on Twitter. So yeah, thanks again, dude, for coming on. Appreciate everyone watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a sub if you have not yet, and make sure you're following OviClapBomb on Twitter if you're not yet. I can't imagine too many of you aren't, because he is, as I mentioned at the start of this, he's one of, if not the guy on Blackhawks Twitter. So I appreciate him a lot for coming on, and I'll see you guys later.